and welcome to Real Talk with Ashabori.
They won't stop me, but I'm still standing. I'm the illest, that's what I'm saying. Taking over, they think I'm playing. They be talking and they be snitching. Don't like snitches, all in my business. They be hating, jealous, they working. Jealous, they working. They be hating, jealous, they working. When they hating, I just be chilling. So I tell them, say, get on the floor, have some fun. To the beat, let it rain. Cool your veins. Life is short.
Hello and welcome to Real Talk. This show is dedicated to having conversations that matter to you. We are a show that's dedicated to women from all walks of life. We welcome you to come and learn and also share in all the things that matter to women. So today we are talking about self-care. Now, self-care means different things to different people, but at the end of the day, it boils down to making sure that your mental, your physical, and your emotional health are intact. Now, we all have responsibilities, whether it be our families, our careers, or obligations in our community, but you simply cannot pour from an empty cup. You have to make sure that you are taking care of yourself and that everything that you are pouring out is also being poured back into you. Today, we're going to have two guests. One is Dr. Carmen Landrau. She is a cardiologist and also a speaker. She's going to speak to us about heart health for women, what factors tie into heart disease, and how you can prevent those factors. She's also going to talk about how to balance the different aspects of your life to where you're not stressing too much. Also, we're going to have Ms. Afe Bankole. She's going to talk about how she balances her house and her career, her family, and how she uses faith to tie it all together. I hope you'll stay tuned and welcome to Real Talk with Ashabori. Heart disease is the number one killer of women in the United States. The latest statistics from 2013 reported that there were almost 290,000 deaths from women from heart-related diseases. That is 1 in 3 female deaths. On Real Talk, we're dedicated to having conversations that matter to you. Your health and the way you care for yourself matters. Today, we are tackling heart health and self-care. Real Talk. Hello, we are here with Dr. Carmen Landrau. Carmen is a cardiologist, and we're going to talk to her about heart health for women, what factors contribute to it, and how you can improve your heart health. Okay, Dr. Landrau, please tell us about yourself.
Sure, absolutely. First of all, thank you for having me here.
No problem. Thanks for being here.
I'm originally from Puerto Rico. I did my my medical school training back there in Puerto Rico, and then I came to Houston to do my residency in internal medicine and my fellowship in cardiology, and that's where I graduated from UT Houston med school program. So I went into cardiology. I think I decided very early on while I was in college that this is what I wanted to do, and once I did residency, I was convinced that this was my path. I had the opportunity to train with people who are very knowledgeable about prevention. I got a good exposure to cardiology, and that's when I decided to go into my fellowship. After that, then I stayed with UT for a little while, and then I decided to open my practice. This was 7 years ago, and I've been a solo practitioner since 2010. Yes. So I believe in prevention. I believe in actually not having the problem that we have to fix, but get educated, informing the patients, helping the patients have a healthy lifestyle before actually getting into problems that we know will take you to the hospital. Your health is going to suffer. So that's what I decided to concentrate my practice mostly on.
Yeah, so in my research, I saw that heart disease is the number one killer of women in the United States. I mean, it was almost shocking to me because when you think of heart disease, or at least when I do, I think of men. Right. But you know, women are obviously suffering from heart disease. So what factors contribute to that? I mean, is it stress, or what exactly is it?
Sure. But what you said is correct. Heart disease is the number one killer is overall, men and women. But speaking about women, we tend to think that there are other causes, breast cancer, maybe other issues, but no, heart disease is number one, and it's worse than all the types of cancer combined. So every year, 1 in 3 women die of heart disease.
So more women die of heart disease than all the other, than every kind of cancer combined?
Correct.
Wow.
So, and that represents 1 woman in the United States dying of heart disease every 80 seconds. So every 80 seconds we have someone dying of heart disease. We're trying to actually prevent that, improve our statistics, because we need to do a lot more education. We need to do a lot more work with our patients. And patients also need to understand that it's their responsibility to take care of their health, that they actually have to take that first step into taking care of their lives. Things that we can do, or things that we need to understand before doing. In order to prevent it, we need to understand what are the risk factors. For example, I have patients that never go to the doctor. And one thing we all usually recommend is that people need to go to the physician at least 1 time at the age of 20. That's when we start our screening process. You've been healthy, maybe you've been going to the pediatrician, maybe not, but once you're 20, we recommend come to the doctor and have a physical exam, take your history, bring it to the physician, because we need to know your medical history. And the other thing is, we're going to be actually evaluating you, blood tests, doing probably an EKG, taking all that information together and present it to you to show you your risk factors. From there, then we recommend at least once a year, just preventively. And after that, if you have any other problems, diabetes, high cholesterol, but then it would be much sooner, the follow-ups. Risk factors that contribute to heart disease. Age is something that we cannot stop, but as we age, people get higher risk of having heart problems. The other thing is having high blood pressure, having high cholesterol, diabetes. If you've had a stroke, that's also a risk factor. If you've had any cardiac events, that will put you at risk of having more cardiac events in the future. And the other thing is our weight. Here in Houston, we have a lot of food available. We eat a lot, and there's a lot of overweight and obesity. And the other thing that I want to mention is lack of exercise. Being sedentary, we work too many hours a day, we're always sitting down. We need to be more active as much as we can. Okay?
Yeah, so you mentioned that we need to go to the doctor and get a physical. So it's really important that we kind of just know our numbers, know the state of our health. What would you say, let's say you are a woman, you're a busy wife, you're a busy mom, and you're just not taking care of yourself. You're not making that time for yourself. What would you say, what tips or what recommendations would you give to someone who's in that scenario?
Absolutely. Women in particular, we're very, what we do is we take care of others and we don't take care of ourselves. So we do have to take time to take care of ourselves. Things that we can do. First of all, know your numbers, just like you said. Go to your doctor, get checked, get evaluated, and know your numbers. And there are 5 numbers that we need to know that are going to drop your risk significantly. The first one would be your cholesterol, total cholesterol, and the other one is the HDL, or good cholesterol. People call it good cholesterol. And it's called good because that's the number that the higher it is, the more it protects your heart from having any event. The other number that we want to know is the blood pressure. And the normal blood pressure would be the top number 120 and the lower number 80. Anything below that, it's considered normal. The higher you go, the higher the risk factor. And the other number that we want to that I want to share is also the glucose, or the sugar in the blood.
Okay.
And that's an important number because if you have high cholesterol and you have high blood pressure, having high glucose makes everything worse much faster. So your risk is going to get worse. Your events may actually come sooner in life when you're diabetic. One thing I like to tell my patients, don't wait till you're diabetic to take action. The number that you need to know for your sugar is 100, and that's a very easy number. 100, why? Because 100 is the cutoff to say whether you're borderline or you're not borderline for diabetes.
Okay.
So being borderline means you're one step closer to being diabetic. Do you want to take action and come back, or do you just want to keep going forward and then being diagnosed as a diabetic? So that's very important.
Okay.
And the other number that I want to share is the BMI, body mass index, and it's the relationship between our height and our weight. And the number is about 25, that anything below that would be considered normal. Anything beyond 25, then we're talking about obesity, morbid obesity, and the higher the number, the higher the risk.
And so, I've shared with you, I've had a child recently, and I'm still just trying to, inch that weight off a little slowly but surely. Do you have any tips for that?
Absolutely. With little children, it's very tricky because kids do not follow any schedule. I know that I have 2 children, and when they're babies, it's you plan and nothing happens, right?
And all the snacks.
And all the snacks, because you're trying to feed that child, but you don't feed yourself.
Right.
Even though you are actually taking care of the baby, think of yourself first. No mother, no baby. So take care of yourself. Make sure you are well hydrated. Drink plenty of water. Make sure you have your meals. Have someone help you with your meals. Everybody comes. Everybody wants to hold the baby. Everybody wants to feed the baby. Have someone come home, help you. Take care of the shorts, and maybe help you with your meals, help you eat. Because if you don't eat, then you starve. What do? Next, you're grabbing a bag of chips,
right?
Sodas.
I mean, I know when I gave birth, I was nursing, and so I would literally be nursing my baby, and I would be so hungry, and I would just
thirsty, maybe.
Yes, and so thirsty, and I would just think, if I just had somebody to just come and spoon
Absolutely.
feed me, that would help a lot. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely. You have to make it a priority. It's not something that's just going to happen. And I had to learn that the hard way. You have to make it. One thing I started doing was just taking time to walk.
Absolutely.
Before my family woke up in the morning. I would go out, take my walk. I would pray. I would meditate, take deep breaths, and just, kind of prepare myself for the day. And that helped me to almost just get my sanity back, because I felt like I was just, I was just going,
yes.
and the stress was getting to me. So I can definitely see that, and I have a history of heart disease in my family, so
Okay.
I definitely want to get the weight off and just kind of feel like I'm in charge of my life, in charge of myself. Just taking that time to take care of myself.
Absolutely. And what you said is very important. Taking time for yourself. It's very hard. It's easier said than done. I understand. But we have to make it a priority. We live our lives very fast. We're always doing something. Find time to do something for yourself.
Right.
And then what you said, walking out with the baby. Make sure that once the baby is actually in a more settled schedule, it's easier to go out and have walks on the stroller. Or maybe the baby is fuzzy and then you take him out for a walk and he falls asleep on the stroller, which would be very helpful. And have people help you. Make sure that you make a priority exercise, because exercise, it also helps not only with the body weight, but also helps release stress. The endorphins go out after you finish and you feel like $1 million. It's easy to have better life when you're exercising than you're not. What happens is some people tell me, well, I don't have time. Well, I've known to exercise in the evenings, which is not easy. For some people who have later shifts, they cannot exercise early in the day, so they have to do it in the evening. And other people have to find a time early in the day, just like you did. So it's a matter of finding what works for you.
And so, Carmen, I know you also do some speaking.
I do.
Right? And so, can tell us a little bit about what you speak about, and if anyone was interested in getting in touch with you, how they could do that.
Absolutely. I do speaking. My talks are directed to women. I do a lot of empowering women. I noticed that when I was in the hospital, a lot of women would come to me and they were trying to connect and trying to find a way or some answer to how do you do it, and how can they be productive? How can they be physicians or nurses and they still have a functional life at home? And that, ring the bell and say, maybe this is something that we all need, because I did it on my own. I had some guides, but maybe if we have something closer to us, it would be more helpful. So I just released my website. It's drlandrau.com.
Okay.
I'm on Facebook, Instagram. I'm also on Twitter. And I try to put tips, do also my blog in there, with tips to how to have life balance for women in career, women in business, also how to network, or how to maybe get to the next level in your career.
That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, we want to thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much.
And if you are interested in being in touch with Dr. Landrau, go to her website at drlandrau.com.
One of the keys to a happy and healthy life is to know how to manage your stress. And let's just face it, you can't eliminate stress altogether out of your life, right? But you can learn how to manage it. My name is Lolita Gorin, and I'm a certified stress management coach and the author of the book Crush Stress While You Work. So if you want to be in control of your life and get the tips and tricks how to manage your stress, please go to Amazon.com and purchase my book Crush Stress While You Work.
So, Afe, thank you so much for being here. We truly appreciate it.
Thank you. It's an honor, actually.
Yeah. So we just want to talk today, like as girlfriends, and just kind of get some insight from you on how exactly it is that you maintain a healthy work-life balance. So first, if you could just tell our viewers a little bit about yourself, what you do, a little bit about your family.
Okay. So like you mentioned, I am Mrs. Afe Bankole. I'm married to a wonderful man, and I have two gorgeous babies. I have a daughter and a son, a 2-year-old, well, almost 3, and an 18-month-old son. In terms of work, I am a clinical team manager, and I work for a company called PRA Health Sciences. I manage a team of about 20 to 30 people, just making sure they're doing their job and, all that good stuff. Yeah.
So what would you say is the most important thing to you concerning your home?
Oh dear, there's a lot. I think just having, if I may, just not losing God's love in our home. Because I find that with God's love, there is love between my husband and I, and that trickles down to our kids. And with his love, it comes with peace, joy. And it's just nice when for me, as a wife and a mom, when I come home, there's peace, we're all happy. Not to say there aren't challenges, but overall,
yes,
there's love and peace and joy.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. So you mentioned your faith. How important is that in your life?
Oh dear, profound. Initially, I didn't really see how, faith and spiritual life sort of comes into, say, being a good wife, being a good mom, being a good employer, and even an employee. But, asking God even for getting wisdom from God on how to succeed in my marriage, how to excel as a mom, how to excel as a manager. It's been God just telling me what to do and what not to do, and just, the Bible says, love your neighbor as yourself. Sometimes when I treat, say, my direct reports, I think about how do you want to be approached? How do you want to, if you approach this way. So I treat them with respect.
Awesome.
And then even, when I look at it, the perspective of being a wife, the Bible talks about submitting to your husband. That was a challenge. That was a lot, and it's still a challenge. But, just having the Word of God to sort of refer back to say, God, help me. How do I submit in this regard? Like, if I'm working my money, I should want to spend it the way I want to. But as a woman, I have to consult my, my husband on, things like that. So, yeah.
God is helping you to keep everything in line.
Exactly. Keep everything in line. Yeah.
So, let's say, what would be your top 3 tips on staying on your schedule?
Time management. I think for me, I am a very, very busy person. Very. Just having to juggle my kids' schedule, school schedule, and also juggle my husband and his work and giving him attention when he gets back from work. And even at work, oh my goodness, it's like 8 o'clock to like 5 o'clock, it's nonstop. And even in the evenings, I have to work. But one thing I've sort of learned to do in terms of time management is, one, I write things down. I do. Initially, I wasn't a big to-do list, but I found that I was very forgetful. And I would forget the most important things. So that's one thing. I write things down, and I sort of prioritize, this needs to get done. And my calendar at work, I utilize that even for personal stuff. If it's a personal appointment or personal deadline, I put private, but it's there and I get that pop-up reminder like a day before. So that's one thing I do. And then secondly, I try not to procrastinate. I was a big procrastinator. I'll get to it. No, but now because I know I value my time. I have 30 minutes for myself, even taking time for myself. That good 30 minutes, turn on the TV, enjoy that 30 minutes for myself. So I try not to procrastinate, no matter how big or how small. I utilize my time.
That's great.
And I value it. And then last but not the least, in terms of time management, I've learned to multitask. Oh boy. We're talking now, I'm thinking about dinner for the kids, I'm thinking about this schedule, and I'm really grateful in a way that I've had the opportunity to be so busy, because I've learned so many skills, like the multitasking skill. It's just something that I didn't even realize I had in me.
It's like when you're stretched, you get that opportunity to grow.
Exactly. Like you're thinking one thing and you're proficient in, even though you're multitasking, doing different things, you're still proficient in every little thing you're doing, because it's important. Like dinner has to be well prepared, and while you're preparing dinner, you're addressing an email, you're probably on a phone call, you're scheduling meetings. While you're doing that, I'm contacting my kids' school daycare and just asking. The ability to do all that, I feel like is a skill that I've sort of learned over time. With everything, I've come to rely on God. Like there have been times where I've just like broken down, like, God, I don't know how to handle this, and I don't know how it's gotten this overwhelming. But God just has a way of just renewing my strength. Yes. I wake up in the morning and I'm like, let's go there. Like my mind is just strong. You can do this. You have to do this. You need to do this. So above everything, I just thank God for His strength and His grace. Yeah.
Awesome. We want to say thank you to our sponsors, Cultural Expression. If you want an awesome shirt that shows what country you're from, go to culturalexpression.com. We also have Miss Lolita Browen. She is a stress management coach, and her website is beamazingyou.com. If you'd like to pitch your idea or become a sponsor of the show, go to ashaboy.com/realtalk. Also, for more exclusive content, go to ashaboy.com and click the link to join and subscribe to the YouTube channel.